get this started. Hello. I'm streaming with slightly different settings than usual today, and I've got a lot of stuff going on with my desktop. But welcome. This is the tutorial for Kabuki Quantum Fighter. Before we get started, we should check audio balance and things. Can everyone let me know in the chat? A, if you really need help with this game, and B, does everything look and sound okay? I don't want to do a whole tutorial and then find out things are not working. So looks like things are going well. This is going to be a live tutorial for Kabuki Quantum Fighter. For you guys here at Retro Gaming Live TV, the tutorial is going to be primarily aimed towards helping players competing in the NEScathlon, which is July 13th, 2019, here on twitch.tv/retro live TV, plug. But it should be helpful for all players. So if you're watching along live, feel free to ask questions in the chat. I'll do my best to answer them. If I don't see them, save them, ask me again at the end of the tutorial, and we'll try to cover them. If you're watching the VOD, you're already anxious to get started, but let me explain some things real quick. There's an input display. First off, am I capturing my mouse cursor? I didn't think about that, actually. I am not. That's going to be important. I'm going to be pointing things out, so let me turn that on and readjust all of these windows. I have so many windows open. It's unreal. Can you all see the mouse cursor? Okay. That's going to be very important. I don't want to have to try to drag an image of an arrow around on OBS or anything. So please let me know if you can see that. Okay. Also, if I leave it hovering somewhere while I'm talking, just yell at me in chat and I'll move it for you. I know that drives some people crazy. So input display in the bottom left corner of the screen here. I'm going to be using splits on the right side of the screen. That's going to do there's sort of like a table of contents or like a bookmarks that you can use to kind of help you find which part of the run you're looking for. We're going to start at the start. We're going to go to the end. At the start of every section, I'm going to play a video of the level completely uninterrupted. So if you're not too interested in all of the nitty-gritty details, you're looking to learn very quickly, just jump to the start of each section and watch that and follow along as best you can. And then if you need more information, you can dig through and try to find the relevant stuff in the detailed breakdown. I'm going to show 2 routes, at least for every level, a safe one for players who are just trying to get through somewhat quickly, and a faster one that is, I do not recommend doing everything I'm going to show in the fast route. I'm honestly not sure if it's even possible given the resources in the game. I recorded each of them individually just to kind of show as many things as I could. And the reason for that is because there isn't really a consensus about what is the best thing to do in this game. Every runner who's played this game and had the record found some things that they did that worked for them, and as far as I can tell, most of them are equal. You know, they seem to come out either you use chips or health, or you go high or you go low, but it's about the same amount of time spent. So basically what you should do is, if you're looking to go faster, watch the fast stuff, pick out the strats. Can't see anything except a mouse cursor and a black screen. That's neat. How did that happen? Boy. How did that happen? All I wanted to do was show the mouse cursor. That's incredible. All right. Let's redo that one, shall we? This is why I'm glad you guys are in the chat. Apologies for... Oh, wow, that's all goofed up. Why is it like that? We're gonna make an entirely new object. So silly. I've never had this problem before. We're gonna call that FCEUX2, and we're gonna capture mouse cursor. Here it is. Live demo, folks. We're gonna make it 4x3. We're gonna put it in the corner. It's gonna go there. It's gonna go underneath the layout. And hopefully we're back on track. And hopefully you can see the mouse cursor. Yes, I can see the mouse cursor, so I'm pretty sure you can too. Crisis avoided. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I'm gonna need you guys to keep me on track. Yeah, so don't do all the fastest stuff. Pick and choose the strats that work for you is the end of the day. Splits are also off. How did that happen? Okay. Disappointing. It's capturing FCUX instead of live split. Okay. Okay. Gonna be one of those days. It's gonna be one of those days. How about we get started, shall we? We're gonna hit the split, I guess. We're through the intro. The intro was 0 seconds and had no flaws whatsoever. It was perfect. Let's take a look at the first level. It starts right here at the demo, actually, because it's a bit weird. Wait for this screen, press and hold start, then press and hold start again. Will get you out of the demo and past the intro cutscene, because you've only got like 15 seconds, I think, in the NEScathlon to switch games and get set up. Timing starts hitting A at the start of the level, and this is the first level. Easy, 207. Let's take a look at how we get that 207. Yeah, we already talked about the demo, so let's get right into it. This is the demo again. Here we go. This is the one we want. Here we, first of all, you press select to switch your sub-weapons in this game. We've switched to the pea shooter at the start of the level. It sucks. It's good in this situation and one situation later on in the game, and that's it, and only in this first level. So, but it's good here. So switch to it. We're gonna do a short hop. There's 2 jump heights in this game. If you hold the button for 6 frames or longer, you get a full jump. 5 or less, you get a short hop. And you need to attack very quickly after leaving the ground. I'm literally 1 frame after in this video, and you can see my projectile comes out pretty high. I'm not sure if 2 frames will even hit it, actually, so it's pretty precise. If you don't like having to learn this sort of rolling your thumb from A to B is how I do it. You could try, people hold the controllers in all kinds of ways, so find what works for you. It doesn't really save too much time, but it happens a lot throughout the course of the run, so it can be worth learning how to do it. If you don't, just stand here and shoot the projectile, then jump. We're doing our first damage boost on top of this guy. The damage boost off of enemies, you just need to be, it only cares about where you are and where the enemy is. If you're on the right side of it, you will damage boost to the right, and if you're on the left side of it, you'll damage boost to the left. We're almost always trying to go right in this game, so land on the right side of the robot for a boost. This red guy here, you can jump up and kill him if you want, or not. Different players do different things. It will kind of affect which things spawn coming in the next few screens, but I find it kind of doesn't matter, so just do whatever you're comfortable with. And here we get to our first swinger. I don't know what these are called. I call them swingers because you swing on them, but we can take a moment to talk about these guys. First off, let me clear the way a little bit. Swingers are sort of magnetic if you're standing about this far away, even further away actually, and you jump up, you will kind of latch on from the side. 13 pixels out to the side actually. is where you can grab this thing. This block here is 16, so it's a pretty sizable difference. You want to try to jump at swingers from the side and make use of this to kind of pull you forwards whenever you get the opportunity. Once you're hanging on the thing, left and right, it'll let you face left and right, and then you just hold A to swing. If you let go of A, you will get different heights of swings, and I won't go into the frame data on this, but it's kind of interesting because when you're swinging back and forth, your hitbox is actually back here during this part of the animation, so it's changing constantly throughout the swing. What you should know is there are 4 different heights you can get off of a swing. If you just tap the button, that's 1. If you hold the button all the way, you can see I haven't let go of A at all on the input display. You get a full jump. It automatically will swing you off of the thing. I call that a full swing. There's a 3 height swing where you just hold it a little bit and let go. I have no better way to explain how to do this. It's between a 12 and 18 frame window or something, right? It's muscle memory, unfortunately, for you learning this for the NEScathlon, because you don't have a lot of time to build up muscle memory, but it's definitely worth learning how to do a 3 height swing like this. It's not worth learning, probably, how to do a 2 height swing, which looks like that. It's a 2 frame window, and you need to be swinging for either 9 or 10 frames. And I'll try to get a couple in a row here. That was too high, that's too high, there it is, there it is, there it is. 3 in a row, and then I failed. My accuracy is not very good at this, so trying to hit this 2 frame window, I don't recommend it, but if you're really looking to push this game, you could. Every time there is a 2 height swing, you can just replace it with a 3, and you'll be fine in pretty much every case, so you're good to go. Off of the swing, you can get away with a 1 height swing, the latest possible 1 height swing, but it kind of doesn't matter. Do whatever you feel comfortable with getting onto this ledge. That was the 4th save state? Yeah. All right, so jump over this guy. At this point, there's a lot of possibilities, depending on if you left this guy alive, whether either of these guys shot low or high. Basically, you're looking for a damage boost. This guy is here. You can jump and damage boost off of him if you like. Or if the projectile comes in high, it'll be like up here, and it'll be, it's gonna hit this wall here, but it would kind of keep going, it would keep going, it would keep going, and right about, somewhere over here, you can jump into it and damage boost forwards. That'll get you past this wolf. If you don't have this guy and you don't have a projectile, you're stuck with the wolf. You can stand on the ground and hit him with your melee. It's going to lose a bit of time. Or you can do this jump. This is a very precise jump. I think it might be frame perfect. It might be 2 frames. But you can clear over him, and that will save you health. So definitely worth pointing out, I think, for that reason. Jumping over this guy, damage boost off of this guy. Ladders, just climb on them. Just jump on it. You'll latch on immediately. Hold left and A to let go. You'll see some weird properties with these things that we'll talk about in a little bit, but for this route, don't worry about it. Just drop off onto this ledge, short hop, full, and then immediately do a short hop, because this guy is down here, and you don't want to hit him. If you do a full jump, you're probably going to hit him. You can try to kill him on the way down. I actually miss in the video. I'm a little bit early. He will usually drop something too, so it can be worth trying to hit him, waiting around to pick up whatever he drops. This guy here can either duck or stand. If he ducks, you'll clear him entirely like this. If he stands, you might hit him on the way down and damage boost forward. Not a big deal. This guy here, this flamethrower, that I lost the flame, but trust me, he shoots flames, is on a global cycle at the start of the level. So if you are consistent reaching this point, he will be doing the same thing at the same time. It's a pretty short cycle. I think it's 64 frames, so you need to be accurate down to the second if you want to be able to have something you can rely on for this part. Otherwise, you're just going to have to react to where he is and what he is doing, jump over him, and we have a sequence of swings here. This is why I gave the different heights numbers, because you can describe a sequence of swings by their numbers. This is a 1 height, a 3 height, and then a 1 height. You drop off. So try to get familiar with this terminology for this tutorial, and it should help us understand these tricky swinging sections a lot better. Drop off onto the right side of this guy. We're not too interested in the damage boost. We really care more about the invincibility frames to run through these guys. It also is going to let us jump off of the very edge of this platform because we want to go along the top. If you fall down, you have to damage boost or do something to get by. So to preserve health, we want to try to go along the top. You will be tempted to jump too early. If you are, your invincibility frames are just running out and you're inside this guy's hitbox, so you're going to feel like you need to get out of there, but you really do need to run right to the edge in order to clear this jump. Damage boost off of this guy as you fall down. It's a lot easier than trying to time a jump. And here we have some shifting sand. This is, you'll get rushing water, you'll get conveyor belts, it's all the same stuff. But it's weird in this game. When you jump off of it, you don't just return to normal physics. It continues to move you in the air. And, it might be good that like, oh, well, we can jump off of it and get a nice big speed boost, except because your character, I think it's because your character moves in uneven increments. It will move 1 pixel and then 2 pixels, 2, 1, 2. And so if you're moving 2 or 1 when you jump, determines if you get a fast speed or a slow speed boost. Both of them are still moving you faster when you jump off of these things, and it changes literally every frame, so it's basically random. In order to mitigate this, run right to the edge of the shifting sand and do a short hop. Here I got the small boost, so I landed on the left side. If you get the big one, you will land on the right side. Either way, you'll be safe here. If you really don't like this, you could swing along the top here, but it's really slow. And even if you touch the spikes, you get hit once. So I think it's still worth going for. Jump along the top. Melee attack, this guy has a bit of an awkward timing. It's like 5 or 6 frames after you jump or something. So, you don't have to be quite so perfect as this, but if you do, you can see I stopped for maybe 1 or 2 frames there. Very minimal time loss for killing him. In this video, he drops this big chip refill, and I don't pick it up, and I should have grabbed it. There is, you'll see later on, I'm a little bit short on chips. So this guy usually drops something. Drops are usually the same from the same enemies, but sometimes they're not. Some drops are very random, and I don't think anyone truly understands it. Maybe Nitsuja, who did the tool-assisted run for this game, might understand it, but for now, just assume that there's probably going to be a drop here. You should hesitate and pick it up. You also switch to the pea shooter again, and here to fight this little robot guy, I jump straight up for quite a bit, releasing right on the D-pad. That gives you a pretty big window to hit this guy. You can do it without letting go of right, but the frame window is pretty tight, so release right as you need to through that section onto these little dogs, ninja. I don't know what they are, but I call them dogs. I'm going to show you how to get through without getting hit. There's a number of damage boosts and all kinds of ways you can approach this. Run under this guy and wait for a little bit. Hesitate just a little bit for him to pass. Jump, swing. You can see you actually kind of bump out on the back of that swing there. You'll hit this guy if you are, or this guy if you're too fast. So the timing is pretty close here. Get to this thing, wait again for the little robot. You want him to be about halfway above you where you start to swing, and then short hop here. No, wait, this one you just walk off, and that will get you a 207. That's a pretty good time for this section. There are some ways we can speed it up. I'm gonna remember to hit that split. 12 minutes so far for the first half of the first level. Probably we're looking at about a 2-hour tutorial here. Strap in, folks. The ladder. Let's talk about the ladder. But you may have noticed there are invisible platforms on the ladder every 16 pixels. If you jump, you will bump your head on the one above. If you press left for even 1 frame, you drop off the ladder. But if you, let's get up to the good one here. If you press left and jump at the same time, the exact same frame, whole day probably, so you actually, no, I pressed the wrong button. Oh boy. This is what I get for trying to do it emulator tool instead of just doing it live. There it is. You can jump off of the ladder. You could even do it off this one to get up to this one and then do it again to get up top. Doing this frame perfect business. Let's see how many times I get it. 1, 2 for 3, 2 for 4, 3 for 5, 4 for 6, 4 for 7. Twitch chat broke. I see your message though. I was worried because I wasn't seeing messages, but I see your message, and I can go longer than 2 hours, so that's good. Thank you for that. Don't do these ladder jumps. Crankta does it for fun. I did it to show off in my GDQ run, but they're really not worth it. But you know, people are gonna find these little platforms. They're gonna wonder if you can use it. You can, if you're frame perfect. So we'll see that here. If you do decide to do it, jump as soon as you can when you reach this platform, because you're probably going to come down on top of this guy. You need to attack, actually, to kill him and get him out of your way. Do this. It goes on and off the Twitch chat. Nice. We're damage boosting off of that guy. We're earlier on this cycle, so we're actually just barely going to not get hit by these flames. This is still the same 1-3-1. We're going to drop down here instead and damage boost off of this gear. This is what you need to do as a backup if you fall. Aim for right there. That'll get you past this guy. Another damage boost off of this guy. You can see our health is pretty low here. We really are going all out. This is still the same, except instead of switching to the pea shooter, we're going to do a short hop immediately on this ledge. Also skipping that drop is, even on a trying to go as fast as possible, it might be worth it. It's very unclear. If you land right on the corner of this thing and immediately jump and then immediately melee attack, you can kill this thing with a melee attack like this. The window is very, very small. I don't recommend doing it. Here, though, you could consider doing this. It speeds this up by a little bit and only costs 1 health. And it's also easier because you're not hesitating. You immediately grab this thing, hold swing so you bump into the back of it to get hit. When you get hit on a swinger, you don't fall off. Well, it depends on what part of the swing you're on, but on this one, you don't fall off. And then you use those invincibility frames to go through this little guy here. Short hop here to barely land in front of the enemy and before the ledge, and that will get you 209. If you manage to get a 209 in practice, you're doing fantastic in this game. Probably people going for the world record would continue with a 208 there, so 209 is the good stuff. And that's how you can speed that level up. Let's move on. I think if I had my global hotkeys on correctly, it indeed split. All right, 1-2. It's the boss. Let's take a look. So that is pretty intimidating, I think. You can see I don't have a safe and a fast here. There's only one way that I really think is the way to go with this guy. There's a lot of different ways to fight this guy. Just look at the runs from the top 4 times on the leaderboard. I think maybe all do something different on this guy. And they all seem equally valid to me. So try whatever works for you. Almost all of them start with this jump at the middle. Warple described this to me as if you think of this blue mess in the background as the United States, you want to jump it around Texas at the bottom there. Doing that and then attacking the boss on the way down will set the boss's pattern. It's one of very few RNG manipulations known in this game, and it helps a lot. So however you approach the rest of this fight, you should probably start there. Trying to land these hits from behind without getting hit yourself is very tricky. Trade hits there so that we can get inside his hitbox there and stay with him as he moves to the left side of the screen. Right here, this is pretty unintuitive. You can see I've already pressed the attack button. I'm hitting him when he's up there is when I'm pressing the button. So but I mean, he's coming down pretty fast and you're still on the way up, so you kind of connect right about there. This is just muscle memory for the most part, unfortunately. So the good news is that basically you can just run around and avoid him until you hit this part here. You can get 2 free hits here, and then if you want, either jump over the fire wave or get hit by it like I do here. That lets you get in an extra hit. I think that was 4 hits actually. Run back in and get some more. This will get you this 93. The boss's sprite is standing here, so I was actually a little bit slow. You can get him while he's still crouching. But if he doesn't die, and you need to get some more hits, which is it? I think it might be 6 I'm looking for. show you your opportunities to get your hits are, that was poorly timed. 1-2 to get it there. Stay away from him because his punch is very hard to react to. Wait for this, so you can get like 1 here, 1-2, jump, 1-2. That's how you kind of fight this safely. And then bop. It's pretty slow though. If you're not willing to chase him around and get those hits, this fight drags on a long time. You can lose a lot of time. So I do recommend trying to learn how to do first strat. That is the first boss. 20 minutes. Finish the first level in its entirety. Let's take a look at the safe route for the second level. Ta-da. Let's take a look and see how we get there. Why is there a sewer in the computer of a satellite? It's a metaphysical sewer. I feel like you can explain a lot of things that way. The first jump here off of this this bird guy, I don't know what he is. There's not a lot of good information for a visual cue. You've got this crack in the wall here you can try to use. I look at the peak of his jump and just kind of feel it out. So find something that works for you, but you want to jump, and it's really not so easy to come down on the right side of this guy, unfortunately. We switch to the fireball here, and we get to some rushing water, which means we're going to either get randomly a fast or a slow boost jumping off of it, depending on what you get. Here I get the fast boost, so I land pretty far on the right side here. Jumping over this guy now, I need to release right. I'm pretty sure I do. Right here, yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6, for about 6 frames or so, to make sure I don't land on these spikes. If you get a slow boost, you'll land further to the left, and you don't have to release right. You can just do one short hop over it. Jumping against rushing water here will speed you up a little bit on the way down. We might be able to see this. If you pay attention, see, right there you go faster on the way down from your jump. Don't know why, really weird physics, so try to get as many little jumps as you can. But it's much more important to make sure that you're not in the water longer than you need to be. That will save you more time than trying to fit in one extra little jump. Up onto this ledge here, and then the water shifts direction at the middle. So as soon as you cross the middle, jump. You'll get a bit of a speed boost. Going to this swinger, sequence of swingers here is it's a full, I think it's full. I had to double check every single swinger because it was just muscle memory for some reason. Oh, this is a 3. This is a 3 into a 3 height. And as soon as you land here, fire 2 fireballs because this Robocop looking dude is coming up from the side of the screen. He's going to block you. He's going to shoot you. So these 2 fireballs take care of him. Immediately start swinging afterwards. As you drop down onto this block, it's, if you don't release right at all, it's a 1 or 2 frame window. I'm not sure. I think I could jump here. Instead, I jump. I think that's 2 frames late. So you got a 2 frame window on this block, or just release right for just a little bit to make sure that you hit it. If you get, if you miss and finally you find yourself on this swinger, you need to swing up onto here. You're going to lose like a full second. So I recommend wherever you need to, I do one right there, and I do one also right here. Just release right for just a little bit to make sure that you stick these landings. It's true, it adds up over the course of a run. It's maybe 10, 15 seconds if you do this a lot. But for the NEScathlon, it's definitely something to think of. As we drop down here, you want to release right again, but this time we're making sure we don't touch these spikes. Do a big jump over them. And try to land not in spikes, basically. 3 height jump, or a short hop rather, into a 3 height swing. 3 height swing, full swing, and then this guy shows up. This guy sucks. He's random. There's a lot of different things you can do to deal with this. In the video, I do a little one height swing to bait him over to the left and then follow him over to the right. You can just sit here and wait. If he is slow or pauses, you can do a one height swing over to him and kill him. You can swing into him, get invincibility frames, then swing through him. And if you're really lucky, he'll just turn around and leave immediately. For here, I had to make do with some of the worst patterns here, but if he's gone fast enough, the RNG for these next enemies seems to be pretty consistent, but very likely you're going to have to deal with these guys being random. This guy stops here. Sometimes he will go over to the edge and bump you, and I don't know a good way to deal with this section. Do you have to reset on this spot in PB attempts? The world record is not so optimized that something like this will end your run. You can just kind of play it out from here. Thankfully, eventually, Kelman Ball's pushed it pretty far. You're going to need to hit all your quick kills, for example, but something like this probably would not be a reset, at least for me. This guy is not in our way, thankfully, and these guys also lined up where you expect. This is the most common configuration for these guys, a fireball to take them out. We're in water here, so you might be tempted to do some little jumps, but the back of this ladder is also a ladder for some reason. You will get onto it and get stuck awkwardly. I guess I can show that real quick, because it really just kind of needs to be seen to be understood. So like you're trying to jump in this water, whoops, you can't go up. But you can just walk back down, but it will catch you by surprise. So be careful trying to jump through here. Short hop there, will get you through. Save state is closest now. This one is closest. Fireball, no jumps here. I will do a jump here though. This is because jumping from this rushing water onto the ladder does something really weird to your physics. For example, if you drop off the ladder, your character will actually wobble back and forth on the way back down, which is one of the reasons why it's so hard to do a ladder jump off of this ladder. And if you just walk off this ledge, you will sometimes, very often, fall slower for some reason. So I think you can get a fast boost as well, but usually it's slow for me. So I jump here, and that will kind of restore you back to normal physics. And here this blue mouth guy is also random. If he's far left, you can land on him and damage boost and run through. Otherwise, this fireball should take care of both of these enemies, and he's probably going to drop chips to refill for you. So you kind of come out even on this sequence. And that is the safe way for 2-1. Let's take a look at some ways to speed up this level, because there definitely are a few. The start is pretty much the same here. This time I get a short boost, so I don't have to stop and release right on that section. Where things get different is, you can see I haven't switched to my fireball yet, and that's because we're going to do this jump over this guy. You just want to land with your tippy toes off a 3-height swing here, and just barely touch the ledge. Release right at this point, because if you're holding it, you're going to run into him. You have to release it for, I guess that was about 7-ish frames. But you also can't just stand there, because he's going to shoot you, right? So you do need to be very quick to get over this guy, but you can do it. I think probably you're going to want to see that in full speed here. So let's just see what that looks like. Whoop. It looks cool. That's why I think people should consider doing it. It looks cool. But the risk reward I don't think is really there on this one. I think you should probably kill him with the fireballs in the NEScathlon, because he's going to be a problem. He's going to shoot at you here. It's a little bit random how he's going to shoot you, and where this projectile ends up being. And so right here, if you do this strat, right here you should wait. You should wait. You shouldn't jump. You should wait on this platform for the projectile to pass. This is frame perfect, trying to get in front of it there and then behind it there. I think I might have actually released the D-pad to make sure that that didn't happen. And then you're jumping off a shifting surface forwards here, so you might boost back into it. If I got the full speed boost, I might have hit it there. Just wait for the projectile. We're gonna do something a little bit different here, where we jump and turn around, damage boost off of these spikes, and then at the very edge of this rushing water, jump. I think it's about the midpoint. This tile. do a really big jump over the swingers, use the iframes to run on these spikes. This is it's pretty tricky to make that all happen, and it's only a little bit faster, but it's not totally unreasonable to maybe think about adding that into your run. It might get you onto this section faster, which means that you can start to have more time to deal with this blue mouth guy that shows up. Another way to get more time to deal with him is to down tap here. You can see I'm pressing down on the D-pad. This is a fast fall, a down tap. I don't know what to call it. I use them kind of interchangeably. You just press down. At any point during a jump, you will reset your fall to as if you had just hit the peak of your jump, basically. It will also cancel you out of somersault animations, so you can use that to grab swinger sooner, which is what we're doing here. So we tap down to grab this just a little sooner, and then we do a one height swing with an immediate melee attack, and we actually get to just kill him. I think if we got bad luck and he charged at us, we'd get hit probably still, but it's you definitely have more time to deal with this guy with this strat. Here we get lucky. This guy stops right here. This happens sometimes, so you should be ready to make use of it. I'm going to jump onto the right side of him and damage boost. You could jump clean over him and count on him to run into you from behind. If he chooses not to, you will get hit by this claw guy in front of you instead, and your damage boost forwards has just gone backwards. So I recommend trying to land on top of him if you get the chance in this situation. Throw in a little jump, avoiding the back of the ladder there. And we don't get good RNG here with a damage boost, but we're going to try to not kill them. We're going to try to just jump over them. This is also luck dependent on what this guy decides to do. If he attacks sooner, you're not going to be able to get as close before you jump, and you'll land here. So just jump again afterward. I get lucky, and I get to clear that gap in one go. That's a 166. That is a very, very, very good time. 167 is possible, probably with like a better damage boost and just execution. So I think the world record gets a 165. Probably more realistic to expect something like 63 in the NEScathlon. We can move on to a very, very short section here. 2-2. There is only one strat I'm going to offer here. Section. All right, you can actually notice you've got 31 seconds on the timer. That's what you're aiming for. You can get like a high 31 or a low 31, but it's not a lot. It's not a lot of time, actually. The whole gimmick with this section is you're very limited to get through. When you're speedrunning, obviously, you've got a full 30. So it should not be a problem. I didn't really notice until I read the Nintendo Power article that was like, you gotta be fast on this section. And I was like, oh, I guess so. I was doing it anyway, but this section is it starts with something that's a little bit tricky here because you don't have a really good visual cue for this input. You need to hold left and then press right. And if you're too early on your right input, you will land on this ledge and just be standing on it. And that's the case. Wait for the needle to pop out and then pass through. If you are too late to press it, the needle will damage boost you onto this ledge, in which case you need to walk off on. You're ready to handle if any of these happen, but if you do it right, you should be right up against the needle, hug it right in the face, right in there, and you should get through here with this damage boost. As many jumps as you can stand. I'm really not sure if jumping full heights or short hops is better here because you bump your head on a full jump, but it doesn't really matter. Do whatever you see fit. The important thing is to land on the left side of this block. You want to be out of the water as soon as possible. That's way better than doing an extra jump. You could do a Mega Man style ledge jump, pre-jump, ledge jump thing here. I think don't worry about it. Full jumps up these stairs, short hop over the gears, and here you have a decision. This enemy jumps over you. You can jump up into him and damage boost forwards, which seems good, especially in the rushing water. It's bad to just be standing, just running through it. But this swinger, we can make use of the magnetic property to zip like this. And if you damage boost off of this guy, you go so far forwards, you're not making use of that anymore. And it kind of offsets it. So they actually are extremely close in terms of time spent, except you save health this way. So this is how I recommend doing it, but do whichever you see fit. Full swing here, and I do a 3 height swing here. And that means that you come down here with a lot of vertical speed, which is a little bit faster. You could just tap the button and walk off. Totally fine. The important part is that on the way down, you need to attack so that you're finishing your attack animation as you come through this guy. I'm 2 or 3 frames. Yeah, 2 or 3 frames late there. The optimal, I think I have a save state for this. Right here, I think, is the optimal time to attack. So you could look at this screen and be like, oh, I want to be in line with this, or the bottom of my foot should be here, but this section moves really, really fast. If you take a look at it in motion, it becomes kind of a blur on the way down, especially once this big, bright orange-purple thing shows up. So I don't recommend just staring at this screen and picking a visual cue. I recommend trying this a lot and just kind of finding one in the blur that works for you. Later is better than early. If you're early, you'll miss him entirely. Whereas if you're late, you're just stuck on the ground for a little bit, for like just a couple frames. So err on the side of lateness. I skip this drop here. You will see I will regret this just a little bit coming up. Full jump over this gap here. It's a really big jump, so you need to get right to the edge of this platform. And we're gonna fall down here. I don't pick up this 1-up in this video because I'm honestly not sure how to get it. I've never tried, and I didn't even think about it until it was too late and I'd already made the recording. But you could try to fall down and grab this thing. You have to get it on the way down. No, wait. Actually, wait. Yeah, you probably jump here and get it. Do that if you really want it. I don't think you'll need it, but because generally if you die, it's pretty bad. You know, the number of 1-ups is not what saves you. It's not dying in the first place. It's the main goal. So you can grab that if you want, or you can rub your face on this side of the wall here, and that will get you in line with this ledge down here so that you can just fall straight down, hold left once you pass it. And people with some nice comments in the chat. Thank you so much. Here you could throw a fireball at this guy. You could maybe wait and just whip him with your hair through the block instead. Do a short hop and take this damage boost here to the section. If you're a little bit more aggressive and a little bit faster, you can get a high 31. I don't think I've seen a 32 here. And then we'll see the health is going to count up and down here. And I'm 1 short. 1 more bar here is the max. And you kind of do want to be full because the next boss is very bad and dumb. So let's take a look. We're going to be using pretty much all of our ammo. I had to show off the visual glitch here. This is just down tap, just attack and down tap at the peak of your jump, and your hair freaks out and becomes a weird mangled copy of yourself. I think it's part of the kicking sprite actually, but it's being, I don't know, but I just wanted to show that off a little bit. The main strat for this guy is to throw fireballs at him until he dies. That's it. No cute RNG manipulation, no pattern manipulation, none of that. What is in your control is how close you choose to be to the boss. I'm going to be fighting him from pretty far. I'm going to go right here. If you're, about mid-screen or further, your fireballs, you will have more than 3. You will have 3 on the screen at one time when you go to fire another, and you can only have 3 on it at a time. So a melee attack will come out instead, and so you need to be shooting your fireballs just a little bit slower if you are this far away. You could get really aggressive, stay up close, so that you can fire them absolutely as fast as possible. But but the boss is going to jump kick you eventually, probably. Or he's going to throw a laser, and the laser's going to hit you. I don't recommend it, but definitely is very unclear the best way to approach this fight. I like staying far away because sometimes the boss will backflip away from you. I think that happens maybe here. Nope, he stops. Right here, yeah, this is a double hit. We hit him once with the fireball here and once again here. That you can get with these backflips, and this speeds up the fight a lot and also saves ammo. And you're never going to be able to take advantage of this if you're fighting him from up close. So I do like staying further away from this fight. Here's the jump kick that comes just a little bit shy. It was definitely inside my forward knee there, but I'm fine. You could definitely back up and play this a little bit safer. The other thing you have control over is how you approach this towards the end of the fight. I've got third save here. Yeah, the boss starts with 70 health. It's represented kind of weirdly by these boxes, but he's got 70 health. Each block is about 8, and the boss will split when he reaches 26 health. So this sort of changes phase, and what he does is once he crosses that, the next thing he does will be to backflip away from you, which I guess we can look at. This was my active window. When he gets to the wall, he jump kicks to the middle and splits. And so what happens is you don't really see it because I've taken care of it, but a mirror image of him will pop out and go the other way. It's random which one it is. So if you miss this thing I did in the middle, you'll just have to guess which one it is. But with positioning and thinking ahead, you can make sure that you're in the middle to hit both, which I do right there. You can actually see both sprites there for 1 frame before the fake one is revealed. You know where the boss is. You know what side of the screen to go and finish him off. Also, you get a free hit as well. You're still hitting the boss during this part, so that's important. But you can see I'm only in this position because I was thinking ahead back here. The boss threw this little Gemini laser thing. It sucks. It will always move diagonally towards you, so I know that it's about to come after me, and it's going to end up right here. And as we know, this is where I want to be to hit the boss when he splits. So there's maybe enough room for me in here, but probably not. I'm pretty sure this thing's going to be in my way. So what I do is I let this Gemini laser hit me while he's flipping away so that I have invincibility frames so I can make sure I land that really key shot in the middle. This is important. If you guess wrong, you're going to lose 3-4 seconds or something. So whenever possible, try to keep an eye on where you can take damage to have your invincibility frames so that you can make this a lot more consistent. I get hit by it again as it follows me along the ground. I wasn't really ready for that, so be ready for that, I guess. Jump up and get him if you can. I kill him before he even touches the ground, mostly because back here is when he first crosses this threshold, and he's still in the middle of throwing this thing. So I get a bunch of free hits. Also, he's pretty close to me, so he's backflipping a lot. He gets double hit once there, an extra damage, so I get to finish him off very quickly. That is the main difference in this fight, really, is how much damage you get before he does this split attack. So I get to kill him before he touches the ground. I get a 292. That is a very good time. 293 is possible. I got a 294 with some save states playing around, actually, so I bet it's possible, but I've never actually done it. I'm not sure if anyone has. If you get a 292, though, you should be pretty happy with this fight, certainly. 290 is probably more typical for this fight if you get some bad patterns, and there's not a lot you can do about it. You have those things I talked about. The other thing you can do here, that I think I do in this video, yeah, sorry, still on slow speed here. You can pause during a boss fight and tap up or down to turn your health into chips or your chips into health. And I'm doing this here because I know I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 room for 4 more health now, which is how much the game gives you after beating the level. So I'm cashing in the 2 health that the game wouldn't have given me into chips. If you want to be more aggressive on the next boss, you should convert even more, kind of even it out around here, I guess, because you're going to need that ammunition. But either way, I recommend doing this, definitely if you're going to be wasting some health from the refill, do it. And then adjust accordingly with how aggressive you want to be. You can move on now to pretty complicated stage. So complicated, I've got 3 different routes for this one. Ooh. But as always, we'll let this the safe route here. First off, I do recommend the middle route for NEScathlon runners, but we'll let the safe run play out first and just have this for reference. All right, that was a long one. This is there's a lot to cover in this stage. Unfortunately, it's very tough. You've got a lot of health in this game, but there's nothing that stops you from falling down on these vertical stages. You can get back up a lot because you've got a lot of health and a lot of hits to take, but you're going to lose a lot of time and you're going to get very frustrated. So definitely worth practicing. Both this stage 3-1 and also 5-2 in particular are very, very difficult vertical stages. There's a lot of things moving on cycles. So right off the bat, I think it's this guy here is a spike ball shooter that operates on cycles. We're going to avoid having to deal with this cycle with this strat, thankfully, but otherwise you need to be paying attention to how you move this first section. On the stairs here, just do some short hops. You can bump your head on this first one, but then do short hops afterwards. Swingers here are 3 full. And here we have not just the spike ball shooter, but ice. We haven't talked about ice yet. Ice is horrible in this game. It's bad in every game, but it's really bad in this one. If you're standing on ice and you press left or right, you initiate a slide. While sliding, you move at half speed, and you cannot stop it. Jumping doesn't stop it, turning around doesn't stop it, crouching doesn't stop it, getting hit doesn't stop it. Attacking freezes you in place for a little bit, but then you keep sliding afterwards. The only way to stop it is to touch the ground or a wall. That's it. So once you're going, you're going. And you can see here it's a floating block of ice. So it's very mean for them to introduce ice in this way. I'm actually going to stop the video and show a little trick that you can do on ice. I don't know if it'll be all that useful, but if you whoops, okay, never mind. If you hold left and then right and then left and then right, you can make sure that you don't fall off. But you can see, like, I can't stop sliding. It sucks. It sucks a whole lot. So we don't want to deal with the spike ball on top of the ice, is what I'm getting at. So what we are going to do is throw the fireball here, jump over the spike ball, get to the edge of the ice, jump, and I think, yeah, I do grab this drop here. If it drops something, definitely grab it, because it's almost always better to use those resources somewhere else than it is to try to press on without it. Have to wait a little bit for that spike ball there. Do that if necessary. Or we move on to this conveyor belt. You want to be doing some little short hops, but you don't want to get hit by this thing, so just run on it, jump over it, then you know that you're free to do some short hops. I catch onto this swinger here from pretty far away. You can see I'm over there, and then I'm kind of inside it a little bit, but it is a wall. You have collision with the side of this thing. But it does thankfully let me latch onto the bottom of it. If you go for this, expect that this might not happen. You might drop down, and you might have to jump back up. Small thing to note. We're back on ice. We are going to just jump over it, run to the end, and jump onto this thing. No big deal here. We are gonna do something cool. Look at that. What is going on? This is a sliding damage boost. If you're sliding on ice and something hits you from the front, almost nothing happens, basically. You just kind of keep sliding, but you do take that hit. If you get hit forwards while sliding, you do a sliding damage boost. Believe it or not, you are still sliding in the air when you jump, so you land on the left side of this thing. Give yourself as much space as you feel comfortable. Press right to start a slide, then jump. That's important. You'll be sliding before you jump so that you are still sliding in the air. Touch the gear, and you will damage boost forwards. Now, how this works, for some reason, damage boosting on ice, you go 3 pixels, and then on the next frame, you go 4 pixels, and then 5 pixels. You can't see it anymore, but 6, 7, we're over here now. 8, 9, 10, 11, we're over here now. 12, 13, 14, 15, we're down here. And we actually don't move 16 because 16 would take us into the wall from this point. That's how fast we're moving at this point. You accelerate endlessly, as far as I know, until you either touch the ground or a wall. So if you could find some way to use this on a horizontal stage to just accelerate forever into the end of the stage, then cool. But currently, this is the only known place to really take advantage of this mechanic. It saves a bit of time, you know, crossing from here to there very quickly is cool, but not the super crazy trick that maybe would hope something like that would be. Anyway, we use the invincibility frames to get through this flamethrower here. This is a 3 height swing, I think. I need to follow my notes a little bit better, I think. You know what? I didn't write it down. But you can do a 3 height, or this is a full, I think. But you can always just do a full swing and then down tap as soon as you want to catch it, which is probably it's why I don't know the heights that you required for a lot of these, and I had to go figure it out for the tutorial, because I always do that. I tend to do a full swing without releasing the A button, and then down tap to catch it as soon as possible. Land on the corner of this ice and let off the D-pad. If you are still holding left, you will slide. If that happens, jump. You will bang into this wall. Sometimes you will kind of bounce off the wall and start sliding the other way. Sometimes you'll just fall straight down. Either way, you want to make sure you jump. Otherwise, you slide into this gear. And I mean, you don't get mangled and die or anything, but you do take a hit. Land cleanly here. Jump mostly straight up. You can run on it and jump if you want, because it doesn't really matter. It's trying to go up. This flamethrower up here that we're about to see is spawning on. Flamethrowers are on. They turn on and off every 64 frames on a cycle starting at the start of the level. So that's probably why they feel weird to you, and they're never quite in the same position sometimes, it feels like, but sometimes they do, and it's because you're probably hitting the same 64 window on your flamethrowers. But sometimes they usually spawn on, but sometimes they spawn off and then switch on later. So this one is usually on, which means you should do a 3 height swing here, and then wait. Some players will switch to the triple shot and throw it and kill this thing. The 12 frames it takes to throw the triple shot is almost as about as long as you want to be waiting here anyway. So you would save ammo. However, when you kill it, it drops something, so maybe you will get that ammo back. So do whatever you feel more comfortable with. I prefer waiting. Run to the edge of this jump, this platform here before the gears and jump. You should make it onto this guy. With this route, it's in a bad cycle here, so we have to wait a little bit before We jump up here. Again, go to the very edge of this thing so that you get full speed for as long as you can, jumping onto this conveyor belt. Over this guy, wait again. You could also throw a triple shot and kill this guy, but I'm gonna wait here. See me doing a down tap on that swinger previously. This conveyor belt, do a full jump and land on the right side of it so that you are decreasing the distance you have to travel to get to this one. It's moving to the left against you, so you really give yourself a lot of consistency landing on the right side of this thing. Short hop to the left here. Short hop will get you under these gears. Short hop also gets you under this gear, even though it doesn't look like it, but you will still get hit by this flamethrower. So that's what you really should be looking at when you make this jump. I'm going to wait for it here. You can jump and barely make it onto the swinger under the flamethrower. It might be frame perfect, so do that at your own peril. We're going to intentionally get hit by the flamethrower as we get caught on the swinger so that we can use the invincibility frames to just swing here. Just hold A, and you're going to be able to get through all of that junk. This guy here, I think I have a save state for this. Yeah. He's really high up. You can see, like, you feel like you should have grabbed it by now, but you do need to go just a little higher and a little higher before you finally grab it. It's enough time to actually turn around and face left, and that will make you see just how far the magnetic properties of this thing works. You're already facing left so that you can just do a 3-height swing to get on this thing. Otherwise, you would either have to wait and then press left and then swing, and you're probably going to lose some frames doing that, or you could face right and do a really big swing all the way. Neither of those are as fast, and it's surprisingly easy to get this turnaround before this thing. Try it out. You can down tap here, and you can down tap here. I don't recommend it. If you down tap to catch this sooner, you're not going to cleanly get over this guy. You're going to land on it and damage boost, so that's fine, I guess, if you want that. But if you're trying to preserve health, don't, and just hold the button, and you should sail clean over it. Really quick turnaround on this guy. It's okay if you're not that fast. You can pause a little bit, make sure that you're facing right before you swing up. The middle route here is not quite as absolute fastest as possible, but this is something I think you can do. What we're trying to do is be consistent in our opening so that we don't have to shoot the fireball at that spike spitter. But that means we need to be consistent and somewhat fast through this section. I'll show an alternative here, but for now, just bump your head here, short hop, full jump. You could do a 3 here like I did, or a full swing and a down tap here on this full swing. And just always jump as soon as you touch the ground. You should, if you do it right, your sprite never changes from this. And so if you see this sprite just kind of gracefully hopping around, you know that you're doing this section the way that you want to be. Do a big jump here, run right to the edge of the ice and jump. If you are a little bit slower, it's good. The spike ball is actually going to be here. You're going to jump clean over it. But even if you're not, you'll come down on it and you'll damage boost. I came down on the right side of it here and damage boosted. Did a sliding damage boost actually for just a couple of tiles or whatever. If you hit the left side of it, you will you'll tank the hit. The ice will kind of let you keep going. So we're using that to our advantage to tank this hit, basically. Down tap here, I think, yeah. We're going to down tap on this guy. The timing's a little bit different because you're trying to land on top of it. But you save like kind of a surprising amount of time getting a down tap on these flat top guys here. So I do recommend going for that. Many jumps as we can get here. Down tap. This means we're further ahead on this part of the cycle, so you need to jump as late as possible, mostly on top of the gears, but still technically on top of the ice. Make use of that. You're going to need that space if you do this down tap. Sliding damage boost is the same. Here, this is a 3-height swing, and releasing the D-pad here. It's a little bit tight. You might accidentally hold left and slide on the ice. But I think you can do it. We're still waiting here. I could have jumped onto the platform immediately, but we have to wait for this platform anyway, so feel free to also do just hit there. Again, jumping on the very edge of this time, of this thing, but this time, kind of already missed the window here. This time, we're gonna land on the right side of this thing, like that. You can see I actually released the D-pad to make sure I lined that up. Damage boost for the invincibility frames and go through this guy. You can down tap on this guy to catch it a lot sooner. I think I might have just done the frame perfect. Maybe it turned off. Hard to tell. But the principle is the same. It's on a slightly different part of its cycle now, so we don't have to wait at all, and it gets us exactly where we want to be. We are tapping down a little bit on this section. I think you can do it one of these first 4. These guys here, do it on one of them, not more than that. Otherwise, right here, you're going to get hit later in your swing, and you're going to fall off. It's really, really to be avoided. This goes so far down. You don't want that to happen, so yeah, don't get crazy with the down taps. You can do it here, but only because we're getting hit by this flamethrower. We have invincibility frames to go through this guy. If you down tap here, it shifts the camera in a weird way. You don't quite get over him. We'll see that in the last route. Down tap on this thing. And I did down tap there knowing that I'm going to damage boost here. 297 is a very good time. I think it's faster than the record. I think it gets a 296 in this stage. We can go a little faster. Let's take a look. You need to be very aggressive at the start. We're going to do 3 full jumps here. 1 full jump there to land here. 1 here, bump your head. 1 immediately and just barely bump your head. It's not even your head, it's like your back shoulder or something, but you barely bump and land here. It's the quickest way to get onto this block and jump immediately. Down taps, and if you do it right, you can totally avoid getting hit by this guy. You do a short hop and jump immediately off this corner. Also means this guy's not shooting, so we get to just walk by for free. Down tap. No down tap there, but it's pretty tricky because you have to go left and then right, so don't worry about that one. Here, I'm doing something on the ice. We're avoiding sliding on the ice by releasing the D-pad as you touch it and as you leave, and then only repressing it once you're in the air. This is a tricky maneuver. I haven't seen anyone do this in a run at all, so whether or not you want to try to learn this, I don't know if it's because it's very hard, or if it's because no one's really thought of it or thought it wouldn't be worth it or what, but that is something that that you can try. Sliding damage boost is the same here. We're going to do something different. We're going to do a full swing on purpose and assume that this guy is going to spawn on the way that it usually does. Sometimes it doesn't, and you'll do a big empty swing into this guy, and nothing's there. You just go straight up, you come down, you feel stupid. But very, very likely it's on. So you can swing on the right side, face left at the last second, get damage boosted onto the swinger, use the invincibility frames to go through it. I think that is the fastest, most efficient way to get through this section, but there's so many ways to approach this, I'm really not sure. Platform is in a better cycle for us. This spike ball is not in a good cycle for us anymore, so we're going to use our triple shot to take care of this thing. I don't get the drop here, and I maybe should. You would have to swing onto the right side and then go all the way over and grab this thing. But it's very hard to say how much time this ammo is worth versus the time you save just going to the left side. Figuring out that sort of balancing act is kind of a next level to be explored in this game. For now, we're going to use our triple shot to kill this first guy. It's in a bad part of the cycle, and we don't want to wait for it. Also, it's going to drop some stuff, so we'll take it. But this guy, unfortunately, we have to wait. I came up with a very cool strat where you swing out to the right side, you down tap to prevent hitting the flames, turn around, throw the triple shot, kill it, and it's 6 frames slower than just waiting. So, just wait. Here, we don't have invincibility frames anymore, so don't down tap so that you can swing clear over this guy. I'm pretty sure If you don't, he doesn't hit you forward. I think he hits you back and you fall. So very important not to do those down taps. This is all pretty much the same as before, and I think we get it 298. Yeah. A monstrous time. You're not going to get this time in practice even, let alone during the race, but maybe something in there is something that appeals to you and you want to your route, so that's why we put it in. We're moving on to... Oh, no, we missed the split. I knew it was going to happen. But unfortunate for the VOD watchers trying to find the fast route. My bad. But we are now back on track for the safe strat for the third boss. Yeah, that was fast. Boy. This next boss, I've got... somehow I've got 3 different ways to fight it, but really... It's 2 different strats with kind of doing a bit of both as the third one. This boss is notorious, if you played this game, for its randomness. You can see the movie here starts with this health and chips refill. It's because I could manipulate RNG trying to make this video, because that is a big factor in this run. He gets red and angry. It's random how many times he will cross the screen, 1 to 4. It's also random whether he goes high or low. If he goes high, you duck. If he goes low, you jump. Ducking is easier because you don't have to time anything, but also you're trying to react to when he stops, right? He could stop here or here or here or here. And so when he's low and you jump, you can react in the air if he stops. You can come down right here in front of him. Or if he doesn't, then you know that you can hold left and get over him. So him being low is a bit of an advantage that way, but you got to work a little bit more. You don't get to just hold down to avoid getting hit. This is the strats that saves the most resources. We're just going to get in here. As soon as he stops, do your best to react to this, and you should be able to get 5 hits here, I think it is. 4, 5, get hit. 1, 2, 3, and now we're just... You can see I didn't pause attacking here, and that's because I got those 5 hits and kind of recognized I was on... my cycles with my attacks were going to line up with this boss here. There's my excellent reaction time in slow motion there, reacting to the boss on the side. 2 triple shots will finish him off if you don't miss any of your hits. On the right side, 287 is pretty good because it's random again. I got a 1, 2, and a 2 and a 1, I think, so that's pretty good. Pretty good luck on this fight for that 287. But I want to back up and talk about these hits here. The boss has like a threshold where it enrages, basically. And he's got... I've got the numbers written down. I think he's got 80 health. 80 health. And enrages at 48, which is when he's got 7 of these boxes minus 1 hit on the 7th box. You can also think of it as after you land your 8th hit is when the boss enrages. So it's also a little weird when you're right on the cusp, actually. He won't enrage until you move away, and then he does. But when you hit him again, then he will guaranteed enrage and move away. I don't know. He's very weird. You will come to understand. If you don't get these 5 hits, you're going to need to change how you approach this. You want to hit him 7 times, 1, 2, and you're looking for the boss to get locked into another attack. Actually, it's if you're too fast. If you're too fast, which happens a lot if he goes 4 times, because you know he's going to stop, so you come in with an attack right away. If you're too fast, you'll be ahead. You'll cross the threshold too soon, and he won't be locked into his attack anymore, and he will enrage well before you want him to. So if you're feeling shaky, get those 7 hits and watch. You're looking for, as soon as he crouches down, that can be hard to read, I find. I like looking for this, when the toe creeps out. That's how you know for sure that he's going to step out and he's going to attack and he's going to be doing all of that instead of enraging. So just look for this sprite, and that's your cue to just start attacking again. I happen to know that I'm lined up well here, so I don't have to do that. I can just keep attacking, and that's going to mean I only need 2 triple shots to finish this guy off. Which you switch to, you wait, you react. 1, 2. You might need 3. It's very hard to get 3 on reaction, so you might need to chase him around and do another cycle. The fast strat is what we'll look at next, actually. I think, yeah, it is ordered correctly. On the splits, the fast strat is pretty straightforward. You immediately switch to the triple shot. You throw 5, you get hit, you throw 5. You need to be close after taking the hit, because you need your projectiles to go like into the wall and disappear. That lets you throw the next one sooner, and that's what lets you throw them fast enough to get 5 hits after taking the hit. There's a problem with this strat. Well, first of all, it uses a lot of resources. You're already kind of trying to save your stuff, health and your chips for the final boss. So important to have tons and tons of health and chips for that boss that you actually start saving for it now. And is a big part of why the route for this game is so complicated. But you can do this. You can have enough chips to incorporate this into your run. Cannonball does it in the current world record, 10-10. But there's a problem with it. The boss is weird. It does some janky things sometimes. Like right here, you've got plenty of extra health or an ammunition. You switch to the triple shot. 1, 2, 3. What's he doing? Where's he going? Why? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. This happens more often when you do the triple shot strategy. I don't know why. Maybe I'm making things up, but it really feels that way to me. So go with the triple shot strategy at your own risk. I think you should go middle of the road and do this. Starts out the same as the first strat. Get 8 hits. 5 there. 1, 2, 3. Get very close to the boss, as close as you can manage. When you get those 3 hits, start switching to the triple shot. What? And now duck, which I hope I do soon, because I'm running out of time. There it is. And start firing. What happens is this slime hits you from behind and knocks you into him, so you can keep throwing triple shots from inside and get those really quick hits that you need to finish off the boss. You still get the 1 cycle. It's not quite as fast as the triple shot, but you're also saving ammunition, so it can be worth it in that regard. And it's surprisingly consistent to get. Let's look at it from here. At full speed a couple times. Surprisingly consistent to get, which is a big relief on this fight. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Crouch and switch. Throw, throw, throw. You need, I think it's 6 hits with the triple shot to finish off the boss. So I got 2 before the slime came down and hit me, and then 4 inside the wall. You can probably manage 1 in 5, but you do need to get those 6 hits before the boss leaves. And hopefully, with this sort of crouch and switch strategy, this boss becomes less of a problem for a lot of you guys. I was pretty happy when I found that this existed. It's not as fast as the super fast strat, so the world record probably maybe is not going to make use of this, but you're also still at the mercy of the initial 1 to 4 passes back and forth, but this is the best I can do for you. Missed it again. We missed it again. Skip it? What even is the skip button? There it is. Moving on to 4-1. As always, we're going to let this one play out. Alright, a much, much easier stage than the previous and the next, unfortunately. It's going to start not actually with this damage boost, I forgot. In this route, we're just going to jump over this guy, and then a short hop here with a delayed attack that's about 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 frames. I waited to attack this guy, so I pause a little bit on the ground. As always, later is better than earlier. You don't want to miss him entirely, so if you lose a couple frames, not that bad. He might drop something. Usually he doesn't. Honestly, not sure if I've ever seen him drop anything, but maybe he does, so you might want to hesitate and see. Here, we have another one of these jump and immediately attack, this time with a full jump. Wait for the drop there. He usually does drop a heart for you. This guy as well. Not this time, though. Swinger sequence here. It's a long one, but it's pretty straightforward. It's 3 there, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1. The 1 doesn't matter so much. I do like a 3 here or something. The 2 here, again, two height swings are a 2-frame window. And if you miss it, you're gonna fall down. You have to walk all the way back. So I don't think do it. I think just do a 3 height there, and then do honestly whatever you want off of this last one. Get to the very edge of this corner and jump and attack late so that you kill this guy on the way down. You don't want to interact with this blue platform if you can help it. It falls very, very quickly, and if you don't jump immediately, it eats your jump input because it falls below you. So you're here and it just whoop, and now you're not on it anymore, so you can't jump. So it sucks. That's why we try to jump over it. Full swing over here. Here, for the safe route to preserve health, we're going to do a full swing and a 1 to avoid touching this damaging floor. We are going to do this damage boost, though. I do want to point out, I think it's this guy who you can kill to get a 1-up. Maybe? It's maybe worth looking at. Let me just call an audible here. An experiment, because maybe it's worth knowing if you're really worried. Yeah, this is the guy. Okay. Now that we know. You can do that. You can incorporate that into your run. Not really a clean way. You kind of just got to swing on this thing, get up there, and get him. You could switch to the triple shot and get him here. Or so, I wouldn't. I would just punch him. If you're safe enough that you need this 1-up, you're also going to want that ammo. So just punch him. We're not going to do that. We're going to turn around and damage boost. Let's get a sprite where we're invisible. This guy's in the floor, I guess. I didn't ever notice that happens sometimes, but this turnaround damage boost is a little bit tricky, but it's a heck of a lot faster than going on all of these swingers. So I do recommend doing this. Run to the end and grab this thing. You can grab it pretty far out to the side, again, remember, so try to do that if you can. And then we have a very long, kind of boring sequence. Just hold right and jump here. Really not too much to this part, just, do short hops and full jumps. As I do them here, you want to short jump immediately as you land so that you get just on the corner of this thing and then jump over this guy. I think other runners do this section slightly differently, so if you don't like this, look at their runs and see what they do here, because maybe that's more comfortable. A couple different options here. This one, we're going to grab the swinger, get hit while we're on the swinger for iframes and don't get knocked off. Use the invincibility frames to get through this blue crawly guy. And again, you need to jump immediately off of this platform or it's going to eat your jump inputs and make you feel sad because your invincibility frames are going to run out. You're going to have to try to jump on the very corner of this thing when this guy's not around. I think it takes 7 hits to kill this guy with melee hits, so fighting him is not a good option. You really just want to hit this jump on this platform, so it's definitely worth practicing to get consistent there. We have a very, very long swinger section coming up that I think we switched to the triple shot, actually. I didn't call that out, but back anywhere along this section, you could switch to the triple shot. I'm going to do it right here, which is maybe a bit later than you should, because it was right before that jump. And the select button is kind of awkward to reach sometimes. So we have that triple shot equipped. And we get to a really extended swinger sequence where if you fall, you got to walk back and do it all again. So I'm gonna call out. No, we'll cover the 2 height swings in the faster video. But this starts out with a 3 and then a 3. But you want to release right on the D-pad. See, I do it here for 3 frames because otherwise you're gonna catch this guy. You don't want to. You want to fall down to this guy. So do a 3 height there, but be ready to react and release the D-pad a little bit. 3 height, full swing. 3 height again, releasing the D-pad to make sure you don't catch that swinger. 1, 1, 1, full swing through the little butterfly guy. You get hit here, obviously. You can kick him while you're hanging on things. If you press attack, you do this sweet kung fu kick. It has a bit of a wind up to it, so it's actually pretty difficult to hit him. You can see he moves pretty fast. He also seems to, he doesn't move and then he moves like 4 pixels and then he doesn't move and then he moves 4 pixels, so he's weird. I think don't bother. Don't worry about trying to kick this guy. You can go for it if you want, or just swing through. I jump off of this block here because if I don't, I'm very tempted to jump here, and that's not where you want to jump. You want to fall down and jump off of this corner, and then again off of this one, as far to the edge as you can manage on this one, because you're going to go over this gold samurai guy, and you see you just barely clear him here. So you might think that you would just land on the backside of him and damage boost, but he acts differently. If you do that, he'll jump backwards, he'll get in front of you, and you're on your triple shot right now, so you don't want to waste ammo fighting him. So try to get that jump off that corner. Triple shot is here for this guy. You could hope that he's not in your way and just jump over him, but he's almost always in your way. So kill him. He might drop something. I start switching weapons here. This might be awkward for you. Mostly I do it because I'm used actually to some muscle memory for a faster strat. I would recommend doing it around here, actually, which is what I start to do. Get to your fireball, throw it at this guy. And that's the end. 244. Is a solid time. I think the world record gets a 244, and it's doable. This is probably the stage where you can get the closest to the top players as a runner in the NEScathlon. So you do have to get pretty good at the swingers, though. If you fall anywhere there, you're definitely losing a lot of time. But we can speed this stage up just a little bit, as I remember hit my split. Move on to the faster strats. We're going to do a damage boost here. I use the middle part of this pipe thing here. Get your foot into the middle of it and jump, and you will come right on top of this projectile. This is pretty tight, so and maybe not worth doing, but it does mean that you run through this guy instead of killing him. So, you know, the few frames you would lose if you were late on your attack, you don't have to worry about that. So you get the speed from the damage boost itself, and then a couple extra frames for this. How you do this. It's maybe not worth it, so, you know, do what you see fit. We're going to do the same jump kill on this guy, but we're not going to pick up the drop like a badass. And then we're doing the same sequence here, except we are going to do the 2 height swing and the 1. Again, this is really risky for not much gain, so don't really recommend doing this for the NEScathlon. Big jump is the same here. There's a couple different approaches here. I think Cannonball and Crankdud both do a 1 height swing and turnaround damage boost. That's probably better and easier. I'm going to tap down here, then hold right, then press left to turn around damage boost. So you can see it's a pretty tricky input. Get the damage boost, run along the floor. Crankdud does this damage boost that I don't like because it's like a 1 or 2 frame window, I think, here. Boosting off of this samurai instead of the floor means you don't have to turn around. So that's a little bit faster. But you're probably not going to make much use of the magnetic properties of the swinger. You can see I'm catching it from below instead of the side. So it is faster, but not as fast as you would hope. And if you're a little bit off, he's going to do something different. You're not going to hit him. You're not going to be facing the right direction. So it's a lot trickier of a damage boost for not much gain. I'm actually going to speed this up because this is still the same and boring. Same jumps here, but instead we're going to short hop and turn around damage boosts, either off of the projectiles or the floor. My turnaround is pretty early here. That was like 5 frames earlier than it needed to be. But yeah, instead we're going to run under the swinger. Make sure you don't grab it. That's not what you want. Then off this platform here. This is the way I did it here, where I lost the 5 frames. It's 3 frames faster. So I guess with perfect execution, it's 8 frames faster. And the execution required to do the turnaround and to avoid catching this thing. If that 8 frames is worth it to you, go for it. Also, it was hard to time because I lost my positioning information with the RAM search, and but I think I did a good enough job. I might have been off by a couple frames. Swing sequence here is a little more complex. We're going to do 3 and then 2 instead of the 3 and release. Also 2 here, full, 2, 1, 1, 1, full. Same jump off of here. Switch to triple shot now, I guess. It doesn't really matter, but you switch again as soon as you throw it. Switch twice to melee. Then tap, jump, and attack this guy with the melee, and then switch twice more for the fireball. We're going to jump and throw it. It's possible to throw this too high if you do this, and you bump your head anyway, so you're not saving a lot of time doing it, but you save a little bit of time. And all those tiny little time saves, it's mostly those swingers, I think, the 2 height swingers. Gets us a 245 instead, so you have to fight really hard for this second, but if you want it, there it is. Move on to the boss of the 4th stage. That was the fast video. That was the wrong one. If you're crazy and you are you're got a lot of chips to burn, or you hate fighting this boss, you can do that. I don't think there's any route that can afford to spend this many chips this late into the run when you're trying to save so much for the final boss. I theorize it could. I think if you were to kill enemies and save not damage boost in many places, transfer health into chips, I think probably you could do this. But for the NEScathlon, probably don't. Should do is something like this. This is a very awkward sequence of moves here, where you're just trying to get as many hits as you can as you lure the boss against the wall, where then you can kind of go to town. I get a 290 here. 291 is possible. But you have to work pretty hard to get an extra 2 hits on the first cycle. Not a good save state. I don't have great visual cues for you on where to stand to do these hits. I can tell you that you're looking for, at least the way I do it. Again, there's a lot of different ways to do this, so look at the other runners. And if you like what they do more, then do that, or find something yourself, I guess. But what I do is I stand about here. I guess you could look at these patterns on the floor. You could look at this bar in the middle. I'm not looking at any of it. I'm just kind of going by feel at the start of the fight. So I attack twice to the right. I get hit. I move a little bit to the left, just a little bit. I end up... I went too far there. I end up not quite in line with these 3 little Ringo things down here. A little bit off to the side. Probably you could line yourself up with that, and it would be a fine visual cue. 1 to the right, he walks through, so 1 to the left afterwards. That's pretty awkward. So it's, right, back up, right, left, and then 2 to the right. And this should get us mostly into the corner. If you're not flush up against the wall, it's possible that the boss gets far enough past you that if your invincibility frames run out when the boss is there, it will knock you forwards and away from the wall. That sucks, but probably you're close enough here that you can just start attacking, and the boss is going to knock you further into the wall, cementing your position on top of each other just getting busy, I guess, on the side of the wall. So right, 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 left, right, 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 right. I was a bit slow actually off of that first. If you're not slow, you can after here, instead of switching to this triple shot, you can jump, hit the boss once, fast fall if you need to, jump again, and tag the boss right about here. If you get those 2 hits, you only need 2 triple shots to finish off the boss. I was slow, so I know I have to do these 3 here. The reason we fight the boss this way is because once the boss is on the ceiling, he's gonna try to do this charge up laser thing, and he's gonna stay there until he does the laser. You have to literally stand still and let him do it. And then after that, instead of coming back down, he starts flying diagonally all around the room. It's a mess. You don't want any of that to happen. So you want to get the damage while he's on the floor. You want to do it with your melee attacks so that you preserve your ammunition, because you're trying to save for the final boss, and you use your triple shots to finish him off as best you can while he's on the ceiling. The rhythm is important when you're up against the wall. I get into it here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm slow there, but you can get your 4 a little bit early. That's the important part of this run, I think. At the first section where you're kind of dancing with him, getting to the wall, then you've got the section where you're against the wall, then you've got the triple shots. And if you think about the fight that way, I think it'll help you move through it and figure out how you need to get through there. We can take a look at the fast strat again, which is literally just pull out the triple shot, throw it a couple times as you move to the wall, get to the wall, and then face the wall, throw it into the wall, and sacrifice all of your precious chips to kill this boss 4 seconds faster, at least, maybe 5. It's a lot. It's a lot, but it's also a lot of chips. So incorporate that into your run at your own risk. 4-2 fast was done quite fast. Let's move on to 5-1 with the correct route this time. We're gonna again let this play out for reference. All right, 5-1, harder than 4-1, not as bad as 5-2, coming up late. Let's take it one step at a time, shall we? 5-1. This guy here, little claw guy, is random. He might attack very early, in which case you should jump over the projectile and then over him. I get a late attack here where I'm able to just kind of run at him until he raises his claw. That's my cue, then I need to jump over him. Same with the mouth, same guy, same pattern from that guy there. Get right to the edge of this platform to clear this jump. If you fall down, you're stuck in the ice with this awful little mouth guy. That sucks, so be mindful of these big jumps. I don't just attack around this line, I guess. I do this by feel, so you might want to find a visual cue. Thankfully, this background should help you find a pretty good visual when to attack and kill this guy. I lose 4 or 5 frames there, so not so good. Definitely a little bit earlier than I attack here. What you should do, if you're far enough to the left when you do it, you should be able to just run and pick up this drop without stopping, but I make sure that I pause a little bit to pick it up, which is important. We're trying to keep very healthy and full on resources for the boss coming up. We have some ice here. We're just gonna run on the ice for now, nothing fancy. But we do want to, no, we're not gonna switch to the triple shot here. We're going to use our melee. On this guy, this is another one of those roll my thumb from A to B to do this, and it might feel uncomfortable to you, so there's a triple shot method in the fast run that you might be interested in, or just, you know, like jump way up high, land on the corner, and hair whip him. For now, I'm just going to try to just snag him there, and I think I'm waiting for a drop here. Yeah, get the drop. I'm going to switch to the triple shot. We're going to avoid this conveyor belt for now and jump straight to this pillar. And then over here, this guy despawns and leaves behind a 1-up. These heads they're real janky. They're real weird. I do not understand how exactly they work. Crankdud was I think Pikachu as well, were throwing a triple shot at nothing that would kill it off screen, and all kinds of weird things happen in this section. Triple shot off screen killing it, confirmed by Crankdud. Very strange. I guess it's I don't know. I don't understand. Play around with it as you see fit. I find I get the most consistent results doing it this way. Jump to here, standing shot. You could jump and attack. It would be a little bit faster, but I find this guy doesn't despawn as often when I do that. But, you know, try different approaches, I guess, through this fight. But this is what I tend to have the best results with, even if it's not quite optimal. You also get this 1-up here if you get that kill, so that's nice. Again, landing on the corners of ice. This one, unfortunately, we have to run across this conveyor belt, and you do need to get right to the end of it in order to get just barely onto this swinger. If you fall, you have to go so far back. I do not have a video ready to show what you should do if you fall, but it's definitely worth going. So let's try to do this one live. You can jump a little bit here. You need to get right to the edge of this stuff to avoid getting hit, and then you get to do all of this again. So that was, what, 5 seconds or something? You know, it's bad, so you definitely want to avoid that if you can. We're back on track here. Also, collect the drop from the head, not the 1-up, but also the heart from the first guy. Very useful. We don't want this triple shot right now, so at some point we're going to try to work in some weapon switches. I think sometimes I do it on this conveyor belt, but feel free to just like take a moment on a swinger maybe to switch if you need to, but it's not so easy. Full height swing to land on the right side of this thing and jump immediately is the best way to deal with it. Once you land here, full jump and short hop to walk off and get timed perfectly to damage boost off of this spike swinger here. That is a 3 height swing into a full height swing. Yeah, and then 1 to here. We're gonna wait for the spike ball in this route. Then a 3 full 1-1. You might not get hit by these needles depending on how long you took to get here. I'm pretty sure they're another global cycle business. If you don't get hit and you go right to the edge of this thing, tap down for a very short amount of time and then press right, you will just kind of not get hit by this guy and barely avoid touching this guy. So you can get through without getting hit, but it is pretty precise. Because I did get hit, I go ahead and just drop down on top of this cactus or cabbage or whatever it is. Very likely you'll get hit by something through this section, so just kind of accept that. We jump over this guy here, it just kind of lines up these cycles nicely. Another delayed attack here. Do I have a save state for this one? Yeah. Comes out A and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, around 8 or 9 frames before you want to attack and kill this guy. You don't freeze at all though, so mostly done by me, I guess. You want to move right to spawn this guy so that he starts moving out of your way, but you can't go immediately because he's still in your way. So use that time to double back, get the drop, and then once you get it, continue to the right. He should be out of your way. You can probably worth seeing in full time here, just this kind of little whoop whoop whoop. That'll get you through. This part is a little bit scary. This platform is another one of those ones that will eat your jumps, so you need to jump very quickly. This one, if you get on it soon, you can run along it and kind of get a speed boost as well as it kind of also carries you forwards. Try to do that as much as you can without, you know, bumping up against this wall. But these platforms are sprites. Sprites can despawn in this game. If these platforms despawn and you're down in here, you're stuck. Can't get out. You're not soft locked, thankfully, because this time down here will tick down for you, and when it hits 0, you will die and go back to the start of the stage. That's literally your best option if this happens to you. So don't let it happen to you. Practice jumping off of this guy. Don't do anything weird moving the screen around these edges, because you definitely do not want that to happen to you. The NEScathlon. Here on this cycle, on this route, this safe route, just jump to this thing and wait for the spikes. And I figured probably at this point in the run, you're probably feeling a little bit. So let me just watch this section play out here and point out a horrible, horrible thing, which is not this wall, but this wall has no way over it. So if you fall before this point, which again I suppose we should show, is kind of the ultimate walk of shame here. You have no choice but to turn around, go all the way back, jump over here, still going back, still going all the way back. The spike balls have despawned. They left. They didn't think, they thought their job was done. And then you have to do this whole section again. So don't fall is the game plan, and to assist in our don't fall game plan, you can just do full swings here. You wait for the spike ball, full swing, one there, full swing, full swing, full swing, wait, full swing, full swing, full swing, full swing, full swing, full swing. When you're not worrying about how long you have to be holding the A button, this section gets a lot more manageable, and it's worth it. The damage to your mental game falling and having to redo this section is pretty bad. So it could be worth it to do it this way. If you want to be more aggressive, we'll go over that in the fast strats, because we just reached the end of the stage. It's 249, a very high 249. We can do a little bit better with some faster strats that I will split for. Again, we get good luck here, just jumping over these guys. This part still basically the same. We get a really good attack on that guy. We wait for the drop. Here we're going to do the release the D-pad before and after you touch down on the ice, because if you're holding the D-pad while you're on it, you start the slide, and that's what we're trying to. So you're kind of releasing the D-pad as you are touching the ice, and then repressing it as soon as you can. And that will get you through there just a little faster. We have our triple shot out already. We're going to throw it at this guy. We're going to do these conveyor belt jumps. Don't do these conveyor belt jumps. The only way to jump from one to the next and then onto this platform is if you get the fast boost from the conveyor belt, which again is random. Every other frame it alternates. So it's basically a 25% chance that you will make it here safely through pure luck alone, let alone any execution mistakes you might make. But if you do, for some reason, this thing almost always despawns, so that's nice. So if you're feeling crazy, that's something that you can do. It's a lot of fun. I will admit, it's a lot of fun to just. Here we go. Jumping through this very difficult stage that. There's a certain amount of catharsis to it, so perhaps for that reason, if nothing else, you should think about it. We switch on this conveyor belt here. Again, this is kind of difficult. Feel free to switch wherever you see fit. We're only doing a 3 height swing here. I think, yeah, we don't let go of right, actually. So you might be more comfortable with this compared to doing the full swing, actually. And it is a little bit faster. Again, full jump, short hop, land on this guy. Doing something different here, where we do a full swing, and then face left, and damage boost off of the cabbage. Anytime you've got a cabbage on top of this totem pole, and you damage boost off of it, there's a chance you will get stuck. You just get stuck in the air. You glow orange, and you can't move, and again, your only recourse is to wait for time to run out and die. So, know that risk involved with this strat and a couple others, and incorporate it at your own risk. With this, with the iframes from this, we do a 1, 3, full, 1, 1, and that gets us through the spike ball without waiting. This is largely the same. And here, we've got a pretty long sequence. Taking a look at in full. Yeah, all right, here we go. So, damage boost, jump. Don't get right to the edge of this platform and jump. Jump a little bit earlier. If you're too high in your jump, I think is what's happening. The spike ball will hit you when you're too high and you'll fall over the swinger. The idea is to fall onto the swinger. So be a little lower when you make contact to catch the swinger. With the iframes, immediately do a 3, 3, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3. Full swing with a down tap. 3. Oops, I missed this was the 3. Full swing with a down tap. 3. No, 1. Maybe I should try that again. Alright, damage boost. 3, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3. Full with down tap. 3. Full down tap. 1. And we get there with a 256. That's a crazy time. You have to do the conveyor belts to get that, so don't expect to do that. But doing some of these swings, the way that we do at the end of the stage here, I could definitely see a strong NEScathlon player going for that. Best of luck with 5-1. Time to move on to the Widowmaker. That is 5-2. All right, 265. That is you should be pretty happy with this, I think, if you pulled this off in an NEScathlon, even though going a lot faster is possible. Question from the chat: do you think what would be a good target time for a marathon setting? I as a runner of the game, I've got a 1040 and a 1044. I think running this game in marathons. And then on a weird emulator setup I didn't practice for, more like 1130 or something. For NEScathlon players, I'm not sure. Maybe like a 1230. The retro games racing did Kabuki Quantum Fighter. A bunch of people played the game for a month, and the best time was 1056, I think, by Streamline. So that was learned in a very short amount of time. So it might be worth considering looking at Streamline's run, because they probably had to make some decisions about speed and safety that are maybe closer to what you're looking for as a NEScathlon. So let's run this one back. and go over it bit by bit, because certainly there's a lot to go over. This guy here, you could face left right before you grab it and swing to the left. It's pretty tricky, so don't worry about it too much if you don't get it. 1, 1, and then 3 swings here to get up to this guy. Full swing up here. This guy here is a global cycle at the start of the level. Thankfully, we're still pretty early on in the level, so it's not that bad. But the swingers are a little tricky, so on the off chance, if you're a little slow and you get hit, you're going to fall down into this gap, and it's going to be bad news. So I wanted to offer something for players who didn't want to deal with that. However fast you go, just wait here. Jump when it goes by. Kill him, collect the drop. You can down tap on that conveyor belt if you wish. Damage boost off of the blue guy to go through the swinger. That's going to be a common theme, as you probably saw already. This is a full swing, a 3, and then a 1. Or I did a full swing and a down tap. That's another thing you can do if you're more comfortable doing it that way. Melee attack on the blue guy, and he'll usually drop something, so wait a moment to pick it up. Here, this guy, you need to cooperate. It looks like he's pretty far on this ledge. He could actually be a fair bit out further even, and you can still grab this railing the way that you want to. Want to just get right, just come in on this angle, and you should grab it, unless he's way out on the edge. You'll get hit, use the invincibility frames to swing through. If he is in a bad position, there's something else you can do here. Here's me manipulating the RNG so that he is in a bad position. Even here, you could still come in at that angle and make it. I was tired of trying to manipulate the RNG to get bad luck to show what happens. This is close enough. Do a short hop over the red guy, and then if he attacks, his projectile went right here. If it goes left, use that to damage boost, or you can just bump into him here and run underneath. Use those iframes to get through this guy. 4? No, that's the wrong level. 4. Yeah, 4. Okay. If he's not in the way, which he usually isn't, you can just do that. Damage boost. Full swing. I did a down tap there. 3 also works. 3 up here. Melee attack. Wait for the drop. Didn't get one here. I feel like you can get a drop there, though, so definitely try and wait. Land on the left side of the conveyor belt. Jump immediately. Skip this thing. 1 height swing. Full height swing. So this is a 3 into a full on this conveyor belt. We're going to land on the right side of the conveyor belt and jump off of it. You give yourself more space if you land kind of more in the middle or on the left, whatever you seem more comfortable with. Turn around, damage boost on the cabbage. Use the invincibility frames to swing through this thing. Full swing up here to get as high as we can before we have to grab the ladder. Climb the ladder up to your head going over the top of this triangle here. A little bit more than that. And you should be able to catch it. 1 height swing to get onto the conveyor belt. This is really scary. You're probably going to catch one of these swingers if you fall, but it's still a lot of time lost. You might have to wait for this needle. And these jumps are so tight. You need to get way to the edge of this conveyor belt. You can see when my sprite leaves it, it looks like it wasn't standing on it at all. But you really do need it to barely catch this edge. It's really mean, and you have to do it again on this conveyor belt. And if you want to go as fast as possible, you need to do it again to get directly on this. So definitely practice these conveyor belts a little bit more. Full swings to get up here. You can tap down to go a little bit faster to catch each one of them. I think, I am doing that here. There is a skip here that we'll look at in the fast route, but for the safe route, we're not going to do it because, again, it's the cabbage. If you damage boost off of it, there's a chance that it will freeze you in place, and you have to wait 300 in-game seconds. Start the stage from the beginning. It is disastrous. It's never happened to me, ever. It's happened to other people I've seen, for sure. There's video recordings and stuff, but it's never happened to me, so I go for it in marathons and stuff. I think probably you should not be afraid to go for it. But if you don't like it, this is what you do. You drop down, 1, 1, 3, full and down tap, full and down tap. 3 is also good here. I do full and down tap. Full down tap, full down tap. Switching weapons. I think this is maybe the easiest. place to do it. You don't get a moment to breathe in this level, so it's up to you to figure out where you want to switch weapons. We're trying to get to the triple shot, which is 3 select inputs from here. Landing on the corner of the ice makes things a little bit easier here. Turning around, you do have a surprising amount of time to turn around and catch this thing, so you can be swinging to the left right away, which is something I recommend doing. We're going to be onto these 1-tile ice blocks over this hellhole. And if you fall, you keep falling until you land on something. So if you manage to dodge all of the platforms on the way down, you can end up at the start of the level. Super mean. You can do the thing I did earlier in level 3, where you hold the opposite direction as you run to the edge, and you will kind of bounce back and go the other way. Maybe that can save you here, but you shouldn't be messing around with that. You should try to just do this jump off the corner of this conveyor belt and then off the edge of this ice. If you get right to the edge, you can grab this swinger immediately. Obviously, that's a little bit risky, so you might opt to instead do a safer jump and land here, then up to the swinger. But if you're going as fast as possible, get directed to the swinger. That lets you get in front of this guy, and we're going to use our triple shot here. Down tap, by the way, to land on it sooner. We use our triple shot to kill him, pick up the drop. It's almost always a drop from that guy. This ice here there's not a lot of space to get through here, so don't be afraid to kind of brush up against the side of this ice before you jump, because if you jump early, you're going to bump your head here, and you're not going to be ready for it, and it's going to be a little while before you jump again, and it may be worth just make sure that you get all the way over to the side here. We're going to do, again, jumping off the corner here. But we got our melee attack out this time, which is 3 select inputs away from the regular attack. And off of the ice, we're going to press right to slide and then jump and attack. I guess I do right and jump at the same input, which I guess counts as a slide. I wasn't actually sure until just now, but I'm pretty sure that's sliding speed. You get a weird acceleration at when you bump this ledge. I guess, is that the slide ending, perhaps? I'm not sure. But by attacking immediately after you jump, you can kill this guy with your attack. You can see you move weirdly fast at the end of this jump. I really don't understand it, but we're making use of it here. Collect the drop again. Landing on the very corners of the conveyor belts makes this a little bit easier. This guy's a jerk. He's in our way. We have to wait for him. This is not usually what happens, but definitely be ready for this. You can stall on the conveyor belt if you wish, or you can drop down. Wait, we've switched to the fireball. 2 select inputs away from the melee to get to the fireball. Use it at the top of your jump here. Get right up into the ceiling when you throw it at this guy, otherwise you're not going to connect. Hopefully this guy doesn't die here. If he dies here, you get to collect his drop. If this guy dies here, you get to collect his drop, but it's pretty random, so we miss out on both, unfortunately. 1 more fireball as soon as you jump to take care of this guy. You can use the homing attack on this section. I find it very unwieldy, but it can take out all of these mouths and this guy. You can watch Pikachu's video does it. I think Cranked also does it in his personal best on the leaderboard. So if you don't like these weapon switches, or you just want to use the bolo, then go for it. Absolutely. Switching again to melee attack as you run here, jumping up to this guy. Ideally, you're facing right when you swing here, but the inputs are pretty tricky, I find. If you're grabbing it as soon as possible, you've only got a frame to turn around. So if you swing left, don't be afraid, just do a full jump and you'll get over here. This is a 3 and a 3 and a 1 and a full and a down tap if you want, full, down tap if you want, turn around, full, full. I recommend for the safe route, just walk off the edge of this thing. You will eventually come down here. I do a full and down tap here, but 3 also works. And here, we're going to wait just a little bit and go over this projectile. We're going to jump and kill this guy, hoping for a drop. We get a drop. He usually has something, but I think not always. Full swing here, kill this guy. The timing on that. Again, the timing on the melee attacks is always something that I never find a good visual cue for. It's always kind of a feel, a muscle memory kind of thing. So you could try looking for visual cues on your swing animation, perhaps, but you want to try to kill this guy without stopping. It is definitely possible, and he will usually drop something, so Make sure you grab that. We're not going to make the cycle on the platform. You don't have to get right to the edge of it like I do here. Be as safe as you want to here. Jump when you get the opportunity. Full height or with a down tap. Full 3, 1. And that is easily the hardest level in the game. We got a 265 with some safe strats. Let's see what happens if we do maybe all the fastest stuff. The Bola might be the fastest, like we talked about earlier. But let's see. It starts out pretty similar. We didn't get the left swing here, but it's not necessary. What is necessary is dropping early here, or some combination of these things. These are things you can do to save time to make an early cycle. Basically, you can drop off here with down, quickly release down, so that because while you're holding down, you cannot move left and right. So just tap it for a little bit, then left to land safely on the platform. 1, 1, 3. Immediately swinging left, and a down tap here will get us far enough ahead of this guy's cycle that we can just do a short hop here and a full jump over the gap before he attacks. Making, you'll have to adjust to how your first area went to know whether you're going to make this cycle or not. It's not very easy to develop that sense very quickly, so that is why I offered the safe route. But if you want to be aggressive and you feel like you're up to the task, you can approach this the same way, get here at the same time, and deal with this attack. Like this, or I think you can maybe jump over the projectile if you want to be real swag as you cross over this gap. But it's up to you. Either way, you should kill him and collect the drop. Did a down tap on this conveyor belt. We took an extra hit while swinging through this guy. That's fine. That happens if this guy is too far over to the right. Down taps, 3 or down tap the way I did there. Again, melee attack. We're skipping the drop here, but maybe we shouldn't have. Get good luck on this guy. Down tap, 1 height swing in melee. Down tap on the conveyor belts. If you are going to down tap, be careful about doing this on the left side of the conveyor belt, because if you hold down for too long, the conveyor belt is going to move you off while you're crouching, and you'll drop. So I give myself a lot of room on the right side here, which is, I lose a couple frames, I guess, doing this. Increase the consistency quite a bit. This guy's here. What's he doing here? He wasn't here before. Depending on how you approach the enemies before, he might be here, he might not. Just do the same thing anyway. Just ignore him. Just jump straight up to the swinger whether he's there or not. 1 height swing, full swing, 3 height, full down tap. We're going to down tap onto the conveyor belt on the right side, immediately jump afterwards. You could be on the left side as well here to be a little bit safer. Turn around, damage boost, full swing up the ladder. As soon as you get, if your sprite here is about 2 blocks high, so as soon as you get here, we're gonna do a ladder jump. Don't do the ladder jump, but here it is. Frame perfect. Left A input again. Hold A all the way, and you will catch the swinger miraculously. And if you're holding A, you will continue to swing afterwards. That's not easy. I pulled that off in my GDQ run, and I'm very happy about that, but definitely do not recommend it for a NEScathlon, or even any run, really. We are going to do this damage boost now, though. Instead of swinging over this thing, you land on top of it. It's easier if you're further on the left side, because you need to turn around. So if you're trying to get all the way to the right and then face left, you're giving yourself less of a window. With something this precarious, I kind of like just aiming for the left side of this thing here. You don't have to be very close to the right side in order to get knocked off. As soon as you take that hit, hold right and A, you'll immediately start swinging here, use the invincibility frames to run on top of this thing and do a full jump all the way to this swinger. It saves a lot of time. I've never soft locked off the cabbage, and it's very consistent. So if you're interested in going for one of the top place finishes in the NEScathlon, this is something I think that you should do. We're gonna full height, full jump and down tap, not switching weapons this time. Again, jumping off the corners of the conveyor belt, jumping at the very end of the ice here. Down tap so that you do not get in this guy's field of view so he doesn't know you're there. And like a ninja, we're going to do a jump and then a frame after immediately do an attack. He will attack you almost immediately every time. It's weird. Normally they're a little random about this, but he seems to do it every time. So the timing on this is very precise, but you can whip him just barely before he attacks. You will also get the drop for free without stopping. Do this. Again, jumping off the corners of the ice, the same as before. We're skipping this one. We're doing the fireball. We get the good luck this time, but not on the drop positioning. Switching again 4 times to get back to melee. These swings are... We do full down tap, 3, 3, 1, full down tap, full down, well, maybe not down tap here because you want to face left as well. Full swing, drop off this early with down, and then immediately release down so that you're able to continue holding left to land on this swinger. We're trying to be fast. As soon as this guy appears, we want to be as fast as possible. So we're going to down tap here, we're going to down tap on this, and then we're going to do a 3 height swing and turn around on the celery, the leeks. I don't know what this is, but it's very tricky to get this 3 height and then turn around. But we're going to damage boost off of this to go through this guy and not have to deal with his attack. It's very awkward to deal with, so damage boost straight through it, kill this guy, collect the drop. Run right to the edge of this thing. This platform's in a better position on this cycle. And this was a full down tap, full 3-1. We get 277. I'm pretty sure 278 is possible. These are great times. These are like, what, 10, 12 seconds faster than the other one I showed you. So there is a lot of time to be gained and lost in this stage. So it should be the thing you practice most in this game, for sure. Being consistent and not falling is going to be key. I could see someone having a bad fall be a deciding factor in who wins the thing. So very scary stage. That's all the different ways you can approach it. Most of the ways, actually, we already covered. I didn't look at everything. There's some more stuff. If you really want to look, the top 4 runs of the leaderboard show all kinds of different stuff. Which are Callan Ball, Pikachu Crankta, and my run. I think below me is Tiki, actually, who does have a strat I will show in a little bit. But first, we missed another split, didn't we? Boy, I tried my best. I knew it was going to happen, but I was hoping for at least a little better than this. Let's move on to the next boss here. There's 5-3, and then the next boss is its own stage together. But it's basically back-to-back boss fights here. And here's the safe strat. Yeah. That's it. You just punch him in his dingus. That's it. That's the whole strat. There's a little more to it, obviously. To get 4 hits on the first cycle, you need to get a pretty good down tap here, both on your timing as well as how long you hold it. I'm holding it for 4 frames there. That could be done even better, honestly, but I still pretty comfortably make this. So with you need to get that down tap on this arm correct. And the other thing you need to do is be mindful of when you press down and attack as you approach the boss. You can see I'm doing it here. I'm still way up in the air, but this is the first frame that my down and B inputs come out. So with this down tap and with this early hit, you can get the 4 hits on this first cycle. This is a good opportunity to practice down taps, I think. You will, whether or not you make this 4 cycle will kind of help you know how you're doing on your down taps. And it helps a lot. The one extra hit saves about 3 seconds because you're doing a whole, you're cutting out an entire cycle. It's like a new breakpoint. So after that, you jump over a thing, punchy, punchy, jump, punch, punchy, punchy, jump, punch. And you repeat this, except for the very last phase, because it's the last 3 hits, so you just punch, punch, punch. Right before the attack comes out, you get your final hit. You'll get a 185. If you miss a cycle, you lose about 3 seconds, I think. And you know, that can absolutely happen. Take a look at your health and ammunition here. Ideally you want them both completely full for the final boss. I know that I'm gonna get the 3 chips I need to fill out here. If I had I was missing 9 chips, but my health was full, I would pause, turn my health into chips so that I would get the most out of the refill at the end of the stage. Remember, it's 4 health and 6 chips that you get for beating a level. There is a faster strat here if you're really good on health and ammo and you don't mind spending it here instead of on the final boss. Do have a faster strat that Cannonball does actually in the current 10-10 world record. Starts the same with these same 4 hits. Switch to the dynamite. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The dynamite hits 3 times for melee damage with a massive hitbox, and it will continue to hit even if, say, you've been hit by something and are currently getting knocked back. So that's what the dynamite is used here for. You throw 2 dynamites on one phase, 2 on the next. I was counting out the individual dynamite hits, which is maybe not the most useful thing now that I think about it. You're really more concerned with when you press the button. So down tap, 1, 2, 3, 4. Switch. 1, 1. 1, 1. You really do need to just barely get the dynamite out as the attack comes out. If you're slow, you're gonna get an entire extra cycle, so definitely if you're slow, don't throw the dynamite anyway. You don't want to waste ammunition for sure. But if you're feeling bold, why we're skipping, you can spam. Spamming is tricky with sub-weapons. Sometimes you will do an attack animation and nothing comes out and you still waste chips. So I always recommend tapping the button rhythmically. But if mashing works for you, then definitely what works for you. So that was, we cheated a little bit. Splits for fast, but we got there eventually. Moving on to the final boss. If you have everything you need in terms of health and ammunition, throw the dynamite. Switch to the dynamite and throw it. Stand underneath the boss, like right under his chin. Make use of... Sorry. Make use of... Yeah, just get teared up a little bit here at the end of the fight. Now my throat's giving out. There's a bit of a safe spot here. It's very unlikely the boss will hit you down here. You can see that these projectiles absolutely would, actually. But for the most part... I'm almost done. I gotta get through. For the most part, you are safe here. So stay here. Throw the dynamite. Second phase, get hit off the boss for invincibility frames. And use those. Here, he was up high. I couldn't get hit. So I I'm gonna wait a little bit to make sure I get hit by the laser. And get my 3 hits. You want to do 3 dynamites and 3 dynamites here on the second the second phase. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I've got 6 resources left from absolute full. So that gives you an idea of just how much you want to do this fight optimally. You should also know it's random. Right about here, how long the boss waits to just wake up. It's a surprisingly big window. I think this is pretty bad luck. It definitely should have happened by now. And then it's now also random how long he waits before he opens his eye. I got pretty good luck on that part, but horrible luck on the previous section. And the time's ticking, like you're losing time while you're waiting there, unfortunately. The first phase, you're very safe down here. The dynamite hitbox, you can throw it like into his neck and it will still hit him up here. So I peek out just to make sure that I'm landing my dynamites. When you switch, convert your health to ammunition, the point you should be looking for is right here. Edge of your life total, your little icon here. When your chips line up with that, that's exactly enough to throw the 6 dynamites you need to kill the boss. If you've got, enough health that you can do a little extra in case you miss a dynamite, then I recommend doing that, as I do here. Very patiently wait for the next phase to start. A perfect display of patience. And then again, I go immediately for the damage boost, because I don't want to try to dance around with these projectiles. He's very random. It's very hard to react to what happens here. You're probably going to get hit. And so if you're going to get hit, I want to control when and where I get hit. I want to get hit right after I attack, so I am able to attack again as soon as possible. Dying here is awful. The game will refill you with less than you need. So let's take a look at how we can get through. This is what you have to work with if you die. And, well, it sucks. This is one way to do it. You just melee him when he comes down, if he comes down. And dodge. It is also not easy. My accuracy is very high in this video, and it's because I was using a lot of save states, actually. I was missing a lot of shots because you only have 2 jump heights. So you can use your jump heights, but you have to alter when you attack to hit this guy. It's totally different compared to most other attacks in this game. But if you really, if you cannot afford to take damage, this is what you do, and it's really bad. This fight is still going. Let's speed this up a little bit here. If you don't get hit, then I have enough here. I have 5 extra hits to take here for this next phase. And I try to be a little careful to try to end with as much health as possible. You can see here I've got 5 extra health. What can you do with that 5 extra health? You can be more aggressive on the first phase. You can do what Tiki did back in 2010 with the very first run of this game. But it's risky. You're going to use all 5 of that resources, of that health, very likely. You're going to finish with next to nothing. So you swing up here and you kick him in the face. And then when he goes up here, you tap the jump button, immediately press B. I like to do this twice. 1, 2. Go back to kicking. He's going to hit you. He's going to hit you a lot. But hopefully you hit him more. And if you're unlucky, if he pauses out here and you're not hitting him at all, you can lose the DPS race, basically. So that is the risk involved with this strategy. Here we switch. We've got just enough chips and 2 extra health, so you can afford some bad luck, but with really bad luck, this strategy will fail you. Also, my execution is pretty much perfect in this video. It's very easy to miss hits while you're doing this, be a little slow, especially responding to if you get hit. I'm gonna finish this fight with literally my last health remaining, so try this. It's so much faster than, this is 30-40 seconds faster than the previous strat, but the risk is real, man. Look at that health. So, but that's it. That is Kabuki Quantum Fighter. Looks like, yeah, I did nail the weenie strat there that Overswarm linked to. Someone said I did such a good job they had no questions. But if anyone else does have a question, please let me know. This final cutscene plays out. I guess I can speed through this. Because eventually, one of these buttons, there we go. There's me thanking you guys for watching. Hopefully this helped. I've been meaning to make a tutorial for this game for a while, so it was a nice prompt for me to do so. It was too thorough. It was very thorough. It was too thorough for the NEScathlon runners, I'm sure. But I always think of what if there's a Toad out there who wants to just wreck these 10 games and totally kill it. So for the players like that, I wanted to show them a lot of the different options that are available. Thanks again for watching. Good luck to everyone competing in the NEScathlon. It's in about a month from now. I'm out. I'm gonna go get a drink of water because, boy, I barely made it. I'll see you guys next time.